What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jada at the Sugar Rise Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This afternoon, we got the brother Thomas Lee Trent on the phone again. But this time, I want to ask direct questions. We've talked about it before, but I want to give him an opportunity to let the people hear it. So we was talking about, being in a position where your life was ever threatened, or if you ever saved a life, and you got a story, bro. So I want you to share it with the people.
Peace, peace. And to us be peace. How y'all doing? Well, first and foremost, I had a pretty much rough childhood life growing up as a kid. I consider myself to be a man child at that time, which was a child with man-like ways. My parents were both young when they gave birth to me and my brother and my siblings, who also at that time was on alcohol and drugs. They was good parents. It's just, they gave birth to kids at a young age and had their own personal, emotional roller coasters of experiences that they was experiencing in life. I actually grew up in a house with more than 8 siblings in one house, and I was one of the kids that need more attention than anybody. But I've experienced and my family experienced, the domestic violence, beatings, things being exposed in front of kids that shouldn't be exposed in front of kids, alcohol, drugs, verbal abuse, physical abuse, for some sexual abuse. Um, at the same time, I wasn't always a person who was a troubled child. I actually was a good kid at that time because I actually learned my mother actually taught me how to drive at the age of 8 and also taught me how to how to work. And to be pretty much more responsible and presentable, at that age as I get up in life. But unfortunately, I lost my mom at a young age, at the age of 12, for the hands of domestic violence. Um, but prior to that, me and my oldest sibling, my brother, uh, one day while in Long Island, Suffolk County, Riverhead, we were standing in a place called Doctor's Path. I had another little cousin named Malik Allen, which his mother was Malik Trent, his father Dwayne Allen. Um, we was doing what kids do, during the winter one day, and we just so happened to stray and roam and to go play on ice. It was like a little pond in the back of Doctor's Path Apartments, and we all go on the ice. Well, actually, Malik Allen went on the ice first, and as he's going out playing around on the ice, he slipped and fell the side of the ice and went underwater. I couldn't swim at that time, and I also had an ear infection. My brother never actually made it onto the ice yet. My little cousin, he was kind of yelling, screaming, and doing everything he can to survive, not lose his life due to the water being too short to swim. So, kept screaming out for my help, but I didn't know how to really help him at that time because I didn't want to slip and fall in, knowing that I couldn't swim. So, I seen like a little twig, which is like a little stick from a tree. I threw it at him. He kind of asked, what am I supposed to do with that? So, trying to make light of the situation, and not being sure what type of advice to give him is, I don't know, take it like you're on a boat, just flap it, maybe it'll keep you above the water or something. Um, so, he asked if I was trying to be funny, and I wasn't trying to be funny. I just was trying to figure out the best way of how to help, my little cousin come out alive and stay alive without dying in the process. So I came onto the ice, I held his hand, and, he just kept telling me to look him in his face. So as I looked him in his face, he said he don't want to die. And I told him I ain't going to let him. So I called my brother onto the ice, which is Jerome Trent. And, he was a little hesitant at first because he couldn't swim. But he ended up coming. So I had him hold his hand. I told him to hold his hand so I would go run and go get help. So I ran a great distance, ran through the woods. And I found someone on Oak Drive. Her name was Clara Jean. So I started screaming while I was out of breath and told her that we need help. So once she ran over to me and asked me what the problem, I explained it to her. And she took flight with a one-shot dash over to the area where my little cousin, my brother, was at. And, she saved him. She got him up out of the pond. So He didn't die that day. We all walked away feeling like we was heroes and, didn't think it was could be done and it was done. Made sure he got it home safely to his mother. I personally haven't seen him since then. It was a point in time where I was in touch with him periodically. But I just got to show that we human. And, sometimes people prejudge us based on past decisions that we done made in our life, uh, based on what they feel they may not have done if they was in that situation. But you never know what you would actually do and what you would not do until you actually in the shoes and you walk that mile. Um, so I'm blessed and fortunate to know that, through the midst of me being incarcerated now for 25 years of my life, that there is someone out there who I can actually, and who can actually say that, if it wasn't for the thinking ability and the paranoia at that time at the age, I believe I was like maybe 10, I think I was maybe 10, that he's still alive to this day. So we all have good ways in us. Sometimes we might do things where others might label us and call us bad, but nobody in life is perfect. Um, so I can actually say that is actually a life that I actually helped save. My brother actually helped save, and also through the help of Clara Jean, who was unaware of what was going on at that time. I felt good knowing that Dwayne Allen and Keisha Trent, still was able to have a child. I just wish there was somebody else that actually did to actually save my mother before she shut the eyes of her life. And with that being said, everything, I appreciate everything that I've been through the course of my life because it's only made me stronger mentally, emotionally. Even though sometimes I feel like I have my days where I may be weak or feel weak, but it's just that uphill battle of want to do something and better myself that keeps me going, knowing that there's a lot of people who depend on me, family, friends, comrades. With hearing podcast interviews and radio station interviews, magazine interviews, things I've been doing for outside organizations for the upcoming events to help educate the youth. Also, one of my latest interviews, recordings rather, for a group home out in Long Island, Suffolk County, Little Flower. It wasn't just for Little Flower group homes, it's for all group homes in any town, in any state, in any borough. NSDs for youth, because it's things that happen to us while we're under them conditions and terms that make us the way we are that people seem to overlook. Thank you for your time. Peace.